This isn't just the World Cup final, it's football, deciding who owns the next 20 years.
Foot into the middle, Enzo Fernández! Argentina! The return, Pedro Porro!
On one side stands Lionel Messi, the greatest player many believe the game has ever seen.
Listen, he's the greatest player anyway. I don't think we've seen a player like him ever before.
39 years old, one last chance to leave football with the most perfect ending imaginable.
If he wins a World Cup again, I find it very difficult to say he's not the greatest World Cup player ever.
On the other stands Lamine Yamal, 19 years old, the player many believe will define football's future. One match away from becoming one of the youngest superstars ever to conquer the biggest stage in world football.
For Lamine Yamal, when you look across the way, this is going to be one of his biggest tests yet.
Only one story can win. Only one generation can leave this stadium smiling. Because when the final whistle blows, football won't just have a new world champion, it might have a completely new king. And that's why Spain versus Argentina is bigger than the World Cup itself. Argentina aren't just defending champions. That phrase doesn't actually capture what they've done. In the last few years, they've won Copa America.
Martinez! Martinez!
They've won the Finalissima.
Messi again around Di Lorenzo on a plate for Lautaro Martinez!
They've won a World Cup. And now they're back in another World Cup final. Most international teams experience that as a lifetime achievement. Argentina is doing it like they're collecting something that belongs to them. The hunger of this team is something I've never seen before.
Every country wants to win the World Cup, of course they do, and every country's passionate about a World Cup, and we've all played. But I see something different with Argentina. I see that it means more to them. I don't know why, but it just seems as if it means more to them.
This run is unprecedented, not because they're talented, because they refuse to stop. Teams get old, players fade, hunger disappears once you've won everything. Argentina somehow became hungrier. They became more dangerous. They understood that defending a title doesn't mean sitting back and waiting. It means hunting. And they've been hunting the entire tournament. At 39, Messi is still football's most decisive force.
They looked as if they were going to go out against Cape Verde, unbelievably. They looked dead and buried against Egypt. It was a nutritional game against Switzerland. At 39 years old, he was still the master of this game. Incredible.
The method has evolved, not the impact. His genius hasn't faded. It's refined itself into something almost impossible to defend. Intelligence replaced explosive speed. But that's not a downgrade. That's the masterpiece version. Every touch carries weight. Every pass manipulates defenders before they even react. He reads the field 3 movements ahead of every other player on the pitch. He's not slowing down. He's operating on a completely different level than players half his age.
He's 2 or 3 steps ahead of every player on the pitch, and that's why even at this age he can still be flying past players, picking up spaces and getting goals still at a high level.
Against England in the semi-final, when the pressure mounted and the game tightened, he didn't just contribute. He took over completely.
Messi was just out of the ordinary, wasn't he, in that second half? When they really needed him, when they were 1-0 down, where's our best player ever, whether it's Diego or him? Where is he? And he just took the game by the scruff of the neck with 35 minutes to go, plus injury time, and just made chance after chance and did things quick and ran and played lovely passes, hardly lost the ball.
Not through dribbling past 4 defenders anymore, not through explosive pace that leaves people for dead. Through pure football intelligence, the kind only the greatest player who ever lived can possess. He saw what needed to happen. He created the chaos. He finished the job. That's Messi in 2026, still the guy, still the answer, still changing matches through sheer brilliance. But Messi doesn't carry Argentina alone anymore. That's what makes them genuinely terrifying.
Argentina relied on Messi for the first 60% of the tournament. Now they're getting a tune out of Enzo Fernández, Julián Álvarez, who was fantastic in the game, I'd say. And a lot of other players.
Julian Alvarez and Lautaro Martinez evolved into one of football's most complete forwards. They are hard-working and very decisive on the pitch. Enzo Fernández became their midfield heartbeat. He doesn't just pass, he dictates rhythm. Very brave. McAllister provides balance and relentless running. Christian Romero transformed into one of Europe's elite defenders. Emiliano Martínez became a weapon himself, a goalkeeper who wins World Cup finals almost single-handedly. Scaloni built something most managers never achieve: a system, defensive solidity that doesn't feel restrictive, clinical finishing that doesn't require endless chances, relentless pressing that doesn't exhaust the team. They survive pressure, they deliver in crucial moments, they never panic. That's not just talent, that's championship mentality. That's a team that knows exactly how to win when it matters. But standing across from them is something Argentina's never actually faced in a final like this. A new generation completely sure that football's future belongs to them. Spain's possession football used to be criticized, all that sideways passing, all that control with no purpose, all that rhythm with no danger. Those critiques aren't landing anymore, because Spain evolved too. They kept the possession, they added teeth.
They took away the creativity, that killer instinct from literally every offensive player. I just didn't think that was possible, but Spain showed today that with a combination of heavy possession and putting your opponent in uncomfortable spots once they do gain possession from you, I didn't realize that would ultimately work against what was one of the greatest offenses I've ever seen at the World Cup.
Their attacks are vertical now, quick, relentless. They don't suffocate opponents through boredom, they suffocate them through intelligent pressure. They keep the ball, but the moment they attack, it's devastating.
Of course, it's a team who love to have the control of the game, the control of the ball, and that's what we let them do. We let the midfield too much time to play, and at the end of the day, they have quality to play. So at the end, it's difficult when you don't change the plan of Spain.
Small spaces become highways for their players. Defenders have half a second to react before 3 passing lanes open simultaneously. Rodri is probably the best midfielder alive right now.
Prime Rodri can stand against any defensive midfielder that's ever played football.
Not because he's flashy, because he controls rhythm like someone conducting an orchestra. Every touch places the next player in perfect position. Every movement creates angles. Every decision either slows the game down or accelerates it, depending on what that moment demands.
He is the leader of the Spanish team, and he just gives you so much calm, so much, confidence also on the pitch as a teammate, that you always know you can rely on him.
He's the difference between Spain being good and Spain being nearly impossible to beat.
It makes everybody around you confident. He is where he needs to be. He's a leader, and his ability to read things and to put out fires on a consistent basis, even when things are going crazy, and to work within the system that they have is just... it's just phenomenal.
Pedri operates in completely different spaces. While Rodri controls the midfield, Pedri escapes pressure. He creates chaos. He finds passes that shouldn't exist. Cucurella on the left has become a constant threat. Defensively sound, but dangerous going forward.
Y'all got a machine this summer. That is one of the best left backs in football. That dude makes 0 mistakes.
And Yamal exists in a category almost by himself. Luis de la Fuente gave every player a role, and they understood it perfectly.
But when Luis de la Fuente was hired, they asked him, how would you define who you are and what your system is? He goes, I don't have a system. My system is work. Every single player that plays for me has to be bought into work. And we saw against France, every single player, whether you were Lamine Yamal, whether you were Rodri, whether you were the back four, this Spanish national team, whether you're at the Euros or the World Cup, every single one of them is bought in to work on both sides of the ball.
There's no egos clashing. There's no confusion about what needs to happen. Everyone knows their responsibility and executes it. That's system football at its highest level. Lamine Yamal represents everything Spain believes about their future. He's 19 years old, carrying the weight of a nation's expectations. Most teenagers would crumble. He's exceeded every single expectation instead.
It's amazing, that you can rely on such a young boy in the early stages of his career, you know, and just give him the ball, and because, you know, he always wants it, and every time he gets it, you know, he can do something unbelievable with it.
His acceleration destroys defenders. His decision-making surprises experienced players. His confidence borders on arrogance, and somehow it all works. The Messi-Yamal narrative writes itself. Master versus student, intelligence versus imagination, control versus creation, experience versus fearlessness. Everything symbolizes something larger. But the real battle won't be decided by two players on opposite ends of their careers. It'll be decided in midfield, where philosophies collide, where patience meets urgency, where experience meets hunger. The match will be decided in the spaces between the lines. When Rodri receives the ball, he decides whether Spain accelerates or slows down. When Enzo and De Paul gets it, Argentina immediately looks to break. That's the entire game right there. Spain wants long, methodical attacks. They'll probe, they'll shift possession side to side, they'll wait for one defender to make a mistake, then exploit it. Patience is their weapon. They can hold the ball for 10 minutes, 30 passes, without ever feeling rushed.
Spain just have this way of being able to slow the game down, dominating possession of the ball. When they give up possession of the ball, how quick they win the ball back. They choke you. They hold their hand up against your throat and they stop you from breathing. That's how they play football. But we sometimes have a tendency to forget the immense ability that Spain have and the way that they can kill you off by creating one or two chances. They can win football games.
The longer they keep it, the more Argentina tires. The more defensive work Argentina does without the ball, the weaker they become on the counter. That's the calculation. Eventually, something opens. Eventually, one attack breaks through. Argentina's whole existence is built on the opposite idea. They don't need the ball, they need transition. The moment they win it back, whether in midfield or defense, they want to attack vertically, immediately, before Spain's shape is set. One touch, two touches, shot, gone before the defense organizes. McAllister and Enzo understands this rhythm perfectly. They're not trying to keep the ball longer than Spain, they're trying to make Spain defend faster than they can think. Whichever midfield imposes its philosophy wins the final. If Spain controls tempo, Argentina gets frustrated. If Argentina's transitions work, Spain's possession becomes irrelevant. But there's something else happening beneath the tactics. Both teams are exhausted. They've played knockout matches in humidity, in tension, with everything on the line. Fatigue becomes a weapon itself. Pressure becomes a force. Emotion matters more than technique when your legs are gone. And that's where these teams separate completely. Argentina have been here before. They know what knockout football demands. They've survived penalties. They've come back from behind multiple times this tournament. They've understood that the final 30 minutes are where champions get forged.
They're a team that lives on the edge. They have done that so many times throughout the competition. Of course, in the knockout stages, they've lived on the edge multiple times. Almost, 3 times we thought they were getting knocked out. They found a way. They just seem to find a way.
Spain haven't faced this yet. They've been dominant, but they haven't been tested by genuine desperation. They haven't stood at the edge of elimination and had to find something extra. That experience gap is real. But Spain have something Argentina don't anymore: fearlessness. Young players don't understand fear yet. Yamal and Pedri, and that entire generation, genuinely believe they're supposed to win. They haven't learned to doubt themselves. They haven't experienced enough failure to know what it tastes like. That's either a massive advantage or a fatal vulnerability. Championship mentality versus pure hunger. The difference might decide everything. But tactics only matter until the moment when everything stops mattering, until it becomes about who wants it more, like we saw in the last 10 minutes of the semi-final between England and Argentina. This final won't be decided by possession statistics or expected goals. It'll be decided by who handles the moment better, who stays calm when it gets chaotic, who adapts when their initial plan fails. The symbolic weight is almost unbearable. Messi's potential farewell, Yamal's coronation, Argentina completing something unprecedented, Spain reclaiming their throne. One nation celebrates forever, the other spends the next 4 years wondering what might have changed with different substitutions, different decisions, different moments. Whichever way it ends, football will remember this collision of eras. Two philosophies, two generations, two completely different versions of how to win. Two players who represent everything their teams believe about their own futures. When the final whistle blows, one image will define it all. Maybe it's Messi lifting the trophy one last time. Maybe it's Yamal announcing himself as football's next king. This is the World Cup final football has been waiting for. Subscribe to see what happens next.